But first, ICE raids taking place today right here in South Florida as President Trump makes good on his campaign promise of mass deportations. And tonight, we're hearing from a man who says his wife was detained. Good evening. I'm Elliot Rodriguez.
And I'm Lauren Pastrana. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones spoke exclusively to that husband. She joins us from outside the detention center in Miramar with what he's asking the president to do.
He wants the president to let his wife stay in this country. He tells me their 11-year wedding anniversary is on Friday and that his wife was in the process of getting her citizenship. This is an exclusive first look at one of many ICE raids happening in South Florida Sunday. This one happening in the neighborhood of Brownsville.
They went up in there and did whatever they wanted. They turned off the cameras, excuse my language, and then they took my wife.
This man who wished not to be identified says his wife is from Venezuela and has lived in the United States for a few years. She was one of 3 people taken from this home. I'm told the 2 others were men who worked in construction. You see them here. This video, only 1 minute and 52 seconds long. We do not see his wife being removed from the home. But this is a picture of her that he keeps in his wallet. Her name is Vianis Ramirez, and he says she was in the process of becoming a United States citizen.
She already had a court date. She was good. Everything's good. He just came in and snatched her.
These are pictures from the Department of Homeland Security detaining other undocumented men and women in Broward County.
It's despicable what they're doing right now. It's very embarrassing.
President Donald Trump arrived at his Trump National Golf Resort in Doral Saturday, set to host GOP leaders for a conference. This man hopes this message makes it to him.
If I get a chance to talk to you, man, yo, please, man, let's work something out. So you, man, let me keep my wife here in the United States, man. She deserves to be here, man.
ICE reports nearly 1,000 raids in the country on Sunday alone, which is up from just under 300 on Saturday. Here at the detention center in Miramar, things have been quiet for several hours, but we will continue to monitor this situation and bring you the developing news on raids in South Florida as they happen. In Miramar, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Are you starting a business? Do you need a logo? Design.com offers the world's number.
Breaking at 4, Florida's immigration overhaul hits a new gear as state law enforcement starts detaining people they say are here illegally. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Summer Knowles.
I'm Jesse Pagan. The news comes as lawmakers try to hammer out a new immigration bill in Tallahassee. Those efforts turned into an argument on social media between Governor Ron DeSantis and his Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson. West 2 anchor Nancy Alvarez inside the state capitol again today. Nancy, a lot of developments today. Let's start with the breaking news and these detainments happening now.
Yeah, so much happening here, guys, and I want to start by getting you straight to these photos, these pictures posted by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles in just the last couple of hours. Now, according to the agency, these pictures show the Florida Highway Patrol supporting federal partners in detaining 12 people who are believed to be in the country illegally. The post saying this happened today here in Tallahassee. The Post also went on to express support for the governor and criticized the new bill, saying it would, quote, undercut our ability to deliver on this mission. Now, this is just another example of the dramatic developments we've been seeing since yesterday here in the state's capital. Right now, both the House and Senate continue to go over the bill that had some amendments today. And one key thing to point out here, in their memo laying out the changes, the Senate President and House Speaker said they were done after receiving assistance from the Trump administration last night. So that shows you just how fast things are moving here. And that pace actually worries some advocates who are now here in Tallahassee speaking on behalf of Florida's immigrant community. One advocate telling us why this should remain a federal issue and not be in the hands of local and state agencies.
Immigration is not static. It's completely fluid. One person's immigration status can change several times over their lifetime. Oftentimes, folks don't even know their immigration status. When they go talk to an immigration attorney, they have to work together to try to figure that out on their own. And it takes an immigration lawyer a couple hours just to try to unravel that. So to expect police officers on the street to be able to think through that stuff, it's nonsensical. and we know it's going to result in racial profiling.
Now, lawmakers here have addressed those concerns, saying millions of dollars in this new bill could go into training police officers on how to support federal agents. As for the new language that I mentioned that was added today, among several things listed, reserving $25 million for an incentive program that would offer bonuses to police officers in local police departments and agencies who assist in ICE raids. So these are just a few things still under consideration here for this final bill that will eventually head to the governor's desk, but of course no telling what he's going to do. He has been so outspoken.
Thank you. And closer to home, federal officials in South Florida carried out several operations leading to the arrest of alleged undocumented immigrants over the weekend.
NBC6's Laura Rodriguez joins us live in Miami with what we know about. Arrested Sunday across South Florida had. This man who lives on Northwest 22nd Avenue and 59th Street says agents came to the home Sunday looking for a man with a deportation order.
Three convicts who were in the U.S. illegally are now behind bars.
The ICE Houston field office sent out multiple teams today to take down the targeted suspects who will soon be removed from the country. In a Fox 26 exclusive, our Abigail Dye went with Fugitive Operation Team Alpha and was there to see them in action.
Police, let me see your hands.
We got a close look at the team that is targeting violent illegal immigrants in our area.
You have a warrant for your arrest?
What am the arrest of what?
With immigration.
The day started early. This is one of the 4 Houston ICE field office's fugitive operation teams.
You guys got the subject in custody?
Team Alpha.
This is every day. We're out there every day in the field.
They met in West Houston near the 14,000 block of Westheimer to talk about their target.
You have your ID in your car?
44-year-old Henry Alexander Paredes Padilla.
Honduran national. He has a final order of removal from an immigration judge. So far, as of today, he has 2 removals.
Padilla is convicted of multiple crimes, including assault of an officer, and he's entered the U.S. illegally at least 3 times. He represents the kind of non-citizen that Team Alpha targets.
We know who we're going after. We do target enforcements, and we're going after criminals.
Let's just spread out around the apartment complex and keep eyes up.
We followed Team Alpha to their target and waited. They've had eyes on Padilla for multiple days and knew he'd be coming down this staircase.
JD, check and see if you can set up and see the other stairwell just in case he comes down the opposite.
And eventually he did just that.
Hands up! You want to hold him right here? Yeah.
A peaceful arrest.
Left hand ready.
While this was happening, the other teams across Houston made 2 more. 41-year-old Mexican national Alanis Mata, who's been convicted of trafficking cocaine and has illegally entered the U.S. at least twice, was arrested in Freeport. And 46-year-old Palau national Shakespeare Ngurmaker, who's convicted of gross sexual imposition of a minor and was in the U.S. illegally, was arrested in Humble.
Fiscal year 24, we only have our 3 quarters out of the 4. We've already arrested over 7,200 non-citizens that are in the country illegally. Of that, 5,000, which is 70% of that number, had criminal convictions. Another 1,300, which is about 19%, have criminal charges pending.
Watch your head.
That means 90% of the non-citizens these teams arrest are like Padilla, convicted or accused of crimes.
We want to get rid of the worst people that you don't want in your neighborhoods.
I have the immigration judge's order I provided for you, the order of deportation.
All 3 suspects were taken to be processed. Then they'll either have an immigration hearing or be removed from the U.S.
Once we arrive to the facility, I'll let you give your wife a phone call and explain, and you can notify her where you'll be at the Montgomery Processing Center.
The men and women that do this job, live in the community as well. They all take pride in what they're doing.
Good job, guys. Thank you.
Very interesting story there. Abigail Dye reporting.
Who wouldn't enjoy?
2 people taken into custody with a major stash of drugs. That's according to DEA agents we talked with today. And these arrests come on the heels of a major DEA and ICE raid that happened this weekend. Channel 2's Vicenta Arenas is on it from Centennial.
We are told the 2 alleged undocumented immigrants that were arrested this morning were found with an extraordinarily large amount of fentanyl pills. We're also told that they belong to violent criminal gangs.
Agents said they had focused their search for the 2 people at this apartment complex at the corner of Quebec and Mississippi. We're told they found the 2 men in an apartment with a large amount of drugs today. The arrest of the 2 alleged undocumented immigrants comes after what Denver DEA describes as a long-term investigation. They tell us the 2 arrested this morning are part of the infamous Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels. There were several other people in the apartment, but they were not taken into custody. Today's arrests come on the heels of nearly 50 people arrested at what ICE and DEA agents describe as a makeshift nightclub, which investigators say had been set up by the Tren de Aragua gang in Adams County. Investigators said it was an invitation-only party for TDA gang members and their associates. Today we learned they were from Venezuela, El Salvador, Mexico, Romania, Cuba, Colombia, and
Deputies called to investigate a murder during the immigration crackdown in Colony Ridge.
Liberty County Sheriff's Office says it arrested Luis Miguel Perez with the help of ICE. They say he's affiliated with the recently designated foreign terrorist organization MS-13. He's been deported from the country 5 times and has an active assault charge out of Maryland. And now he's accused of murdering a man, possibly a roommate, on a small rural road near Plum Grove.
Now, that is a short distance from Colony Ridge, where ICE says 118 people were arrested yesterday. When our Pooja Lodia was there yesterday, she saw a lot of activity, including several people being pulled over. Today, though, a much different sight. It was a ghost town. Pooja reporting from the area again tonight, working to bring you the impact of the operation.
We have been to multiple businesses today. A beauty shop, a supermarket, a cell phone store. All of them were empty with no customers at all. We also haven't seen any law enforcement out here today.
Empty. Not used to seeing it this empty.
The streets are silent. Businesses deserted. Tables and chairs vacant. Socorro Cuevas hasn't had a customer all morning. Her employees didn't show up either. They don't come, I don't sell anything. No money, no business. This is my livelihood. If this continues,
you got Mexican Coke?
I will have to sell it because I am scared. Cuevas Taqueria has been here in Colony Ridge for 2 years. Yesterday was Socorro's day off. Ordinary until she got a call from her husband. Federal and state agents were everywhere. She said at the time, I told him to shut down the truck and lock himself in. ICE reports the arrest of a man they call an MS-13 gang member who had been previously deported. According to ICE, 118 people have been arrested, but the agency hasn't answered our questions about whether those arrested were in the country illegally or how they were targeted. Without providing evidence, the agency posted on social media that the area is known for cartel activity and a population that is here illegally. I'm scared and afraid. People across the country have criticized what they call a poor response to illegal immigration here in Colony Ridge for years. But without more information, it's hard to tell what this operation has accomplished. But today, one impact is clear: fear in these quiet streets and businesses. This is how I make my money. But if there's no money, I can't support myself. We have reached out to both state and federal officials to try to find out more about this operation. Is it over at this point, and are there more planned like it? We've not received any responses to our questions. Pooja Lodia, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.